Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. We record these interviews so potential buyers have more information about the seller and the business to help them make a buying decision. Before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of the business. It is a 3-site package for a display advertising and affiliate business created in June of 2001 in the home and hobbies niches. The average monthly revenue for the business is $14,015 and makes an average of $13,903 per month in net profit. The assets included in the sale are 3 domains with all site content and files, an additional domain, which is a 301 redirect, social media accounts and pages, so Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and Twitter, Pinterest pin files, and an email list of a little over 26,000 subscribers. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 56869 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So that's a brief overview of the business for sale. Let's hear from the sellers with me today. So welcome to the show, Steve and Kathy. How are you doing today?
We're good.
Doing good.
Very good. Well, I'm really looking forward to learning more about you and your business. So to start us off, can you tell us a little about your background in building and running online businesses?
Well, I'll start. We both have a bit of a background. My entire background would be in building these 3 businesses because I started them in 2001. I had a little bit of a background in interior and garden design, and I was looking for a way as a single mom with young kids to be able to generate a good income. So I just started building from the ground up, and I learned everything from the ground up. And that's my entire background is these 3 sites for the past 20 years. But Steve has another background.
Yeah, quite a few years ago, probably in the early 2000s, I had a e-commerce website where I sold auto accessories for a number of years. It did real well, actually. Sold that business. Then fast forward, then I did to another total different, what would you call it?
Genre. Different industry.
Yeah, different industry. Somewhere around in 2011, Kathy and I met, and then we started talking. She had these websites, and we decided to just kind of do a total makeover of the sites and turn them into real nice blog format, and decided to team up and form a business. And we basically totally rebuilt the sites, and the blogs took off. So it worked out well.
Oh, that's awesome. So it sounds like it was also a perfect marriage of skill sets too. So Kathy, starting with her, I guess your interest, hobbies, and turned it into some really cool business. So it's been, as you said, you started this in 2001. As of this point, it looks like things are going well. So why are you deciding to sell the business now?
I am going to retire.
Congratulations.
And I am basically just going to move on to new ventures and kind of semi-retire. So we're kind of at that point in our lives. We're just wanting to slow down a bit and do some other things.
Yeah.
Yep. That definitely makes sense.
It happens.
It does happen. Eventually happens to all of us. So very cool. So through this entire journey, what did you learn about building this business that just seemed to work?
I think we really learned that SEO is super important.
Well, I would add to that and say in the beginning, when I was first learning, I would write content and never even think about SEO. You know, I was really fortunate that I started when the DIY movement was just getting started. And so my blogs, especially the original one, really took off well. But it wasn't until later on we realized how much more you could grow the business if you actually paid attention to something as important as SEO. So I think that would probably be the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. I know that a lot of people who get into this space, they start off with that SEO mindset, I suppose. And as a result, I guess the risk is not coming off enough of a human touch, for lack of a better way of describing it. So it sounds like you were able to solidify that part first and then introduce the SEO side. So that's great to hear.
Yeah, we probably did the reverse. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I always felt like, good content was more important than the SEO, but SEO does count as well.
Yeah, very nice. All right. So it sounds like you've agreed that content, especially SEO-minded content, definitely worked for the site. Was there anything that you tried that didn't seem to work?
Possibly Instagram, although I don't know if we tried enough, but Instagram didn't seem to work for us. We tried for a little bit and it just didn't seem like a right fit for what we were doing.
I feel like that a lot of bloggers try to do too many social media platforms and don't settle on the ones that work for them. And I think that's one of the things that we learned was that you have to find the social media platform that works for your niche.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I think there's this temptation to do all the social media. So go for Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, and assume that it's going to have the same results. But yeah, there are definitely different target audiences that tend to dwell more on one platform or the other.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, very cool. So as of right now, it seems like the business is pretty well established. Can you describe the amount and the type of work you do on this business for maintenance at this point?
Well, right now we're probably doing, between the two of us, maybe 20 hours a week working on the sites, content creation, doing new posts, updating old posts, SEOing and updating old posts, with new photos and updated information, that kind of thing. A little bit of social media. We used to do a ton of Pinterest and we've scaled that back. That's becoming less and less.
That's pretty much our weeks.
That's pretty much our week. Yeah.
Nice. So mostly now a lot of SEOing is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, SEOing and new content creation. We're always trying to create new content, but a lot of SEOing and just making what we have better so that, we get more traffic and ultimately more revenue.
Very nice. I might have to adopt that word, SEOing. I like it. All right. So if you weren't retiring, if you were to keep the business, what are some ways you'd try to grow it?
Well, I think that one of the first things that we would think about would be, other than more SEO, which we've already discussed, is so important, and continuing to update the content. Course creation has become a huge industry right now, and it's a billion-dollar industry. I think we would investigate, creating some courses that we could sell on the sites.
We used to do a newsletter, and for some reason we stopped. I don't know, but we kept those subscribers, and I think we would start that back up again because there's so much, the newsletter services or whatever, there's so many more to choose from now and become the tools that you can use are really nice and the stuff that you can do. And then also maybe get some affiliate marketing in those newsletters
use
too.
The newsletter to grow affiliate sales, I think would be one. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Re-engaging an email list is definitely big. And especially for a buyer who already has that experience, it's kind of like turning the faucet on if you know what you're doing. So yeah, very nice. Okay. And what do you think are some of the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
Well, staying up to date on everything that's happening, all the algorithm changes with Google, with Pinterest.
And then being willing to pivot with those changes, which I think is important for any business. I think that's one of the biggest things. That if you're not willing to pivot with those changes, that's a big risk in any business.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is that's kind of the risk that you face with any website. So yes, it definitely makes sense. So I'm going to wrap this up with a few housekeeping questions. So how much support are you willing to offer a buyer?
I think we filled in on that question. 30 days, email support, and
it's pretty much the default.
Yeah, that's kind of the default.
Yeah,
2 phone calls.
Skype calls would be totally fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, sounds good. And would you commit to a non-compete?
We would do a home and garden non-compete or a what did you call it, the niche? The
home and
hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we would.
Okay. Yeah, and more details can be provided to potential buyers if there are any questions. And are you open to something like an earnout?
I think at this point, we're looking for cash up front. And I don't think that's something we're considering right now.
Okay, sounds good. And last two questions. Putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
For me, it's consistently been good income. I was a single mom for a lot of years, and it provided a good income for me. And then we joined together. It has been a great income for us. And the other thing is that there's always going to be a demand for everything home and garden. There just always will be. So it's something that you can depend on to grow. And, do you have anything more to add to that?
Well, a lot of our stuff is DIY. And so
the DIY movement is not going away.
Yeah, everybody wants to save money, a lot of people want to save money. There's a big demand for that, and I think always will be.
Yeah, and blogging is a billion-dollar industry. There's a reason that it is. It's because, we're living in an informational world. I think it's a business model that will stand up to time.
Yep, that sounds good. Okay, and last question, is there anything you'd like to add that you think I might have missed during the interview?
Yeah, I can't think of anything else that I would add. This has kind of been my baby for 20 years. So selling it is, it's mixed feelings, but I'm excited for somebody to be able to move on with this.
Yeah. Well, I think on that note, that's the perfect place to wrap this up. So, Steve and Kathy, thank you very much for sharing your story and joining us on today's episode. And I do hope your business is purchased in the near future and by that perfect buyer.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 56869. And if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. And once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.